So, in the context of Michael Saylor being the kind of person willing to bet it all to reach whatever goals he thinks are necessary, let's talk about how he has transformed what's ostensibly a business intelligence corporation into a leveraged investment vehicle for Bitcoin, where he has converted all the spare cash in his company's treasury into Bitcoin and has now taken out multiple bonds through multiple different subsidiaries and stuff to continually double down on this Bitcoin bet. Currently, mark to market down about $1.5 billion, but that didn't stop Michael Saylor today from purchasing another $6 million worth. It's unclear how much a $6 million purchase is going to help against $1.5 billion in losses, but Michael Saylor will persist until the heat death of the universe.
Yeah, he's been making some pretty amazing comments over the course of this all. He also clearly does like a quote a day, where he takes from his quote a day calendar and just inserts the word Bitcoin into the quote, which is annoying.
But to be fair, he doesn't have very many original thoughts, and so taking it from the calendar helps.
Well, I mean, let's be fair though. Originality, I do think that what he has decided to do with MicroStrategy is original.
That's true.
It is unique. I don't know if it is a good idea. It's essentially, I mean, as you said, I think MicroStrategy has become more or less a Bitcoin ETF. It doesn't, no one cares about its business anymore. I was trying to make this point to some Bitcoin maximalists today. A person who's taking their individual excess funds that they've been saving and decides to put them into Bitcoin and is willing to hold on to that Bitcoin, let's say forever, that they're going to pass this on to their children or their children's children or, whatever. That's fine. Like, I'm not going to tell someone, it's like somebody who, it's like Peter Schiff and his gold bet, it's like, okay, like if your only concern in life is inflation or whatever, I guess you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. But when you're a business, and you make this decision to purchase an asset and hold it indefinitely. Obviously, the goal then is that this asset needs to appreciate in value, either so you can take out loans against it, or so that you can sell it, make a profit, and use the money to reinvest in your company. But essentially, what Michael Saylor, he's taken out debt against his company, but the value of the Bitcoin is not appreciated.
Yeah. It's a little bit like we talked about with Frank Piancey in El Salvador with the Bitcoin bond, where for a while they talked about having Laheo, the local small electricity provider, be the issuer of the bond and take on this Bitcoin. And what it ended up doing is fundamentally transforming Laheo's balance sheet. And so it effectively became this weird Bitcoin thing instead of really an electricity provider. And that's what Michael Saylor has done with MicroStrategy. He's transformed it into this leverage bet on Bitcoin that isn't an ETF, doesn't follow the same regulations as an ETF, isn't a registered fund, or that is ostensibly a business that has clients and sells software and pays employees, but its balance sheet is overshadowed by this massive leverage bet on Bitcoin. And Saylor, from the position as CEO, has basically argued this was our only choice. We couldn't reinvest in our business because obviously Bitcoin is better than our business, is effectively what he said on Laura Shin's Unchained podcast.
A business is two pieces, your right hand, your left hand. The right hand is your P&L. Your left hand is your balance sheet. Okay, so you can grow the business by growing the P&L 20% a year or 30 or 50 or 100% a year if you're a genius. That's hard, yeah. But you can do it that way. You can also accumulate shareholder value by growing the balance sheet by 10, 20, 30% a year. If you told me Bitcoin was going to grow by 20% a year, I would think, by the way, if you're going to grow by 20% a year and you have $2 billion on your balance sheet, then you're going to generate $400 million in investment income or shareholder wealth in the 12 months. That's a lot easier than doubling. Well, if we doubled the revenue of the company, we still couldn't do that, right?
Right.
Like we would have to increase the revenue of the company by a factor of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so You can compete that way or compete the other way. I mean, some people kind of get irked, like it's like you're cheating by making money an easy way.
Is that it would have hurt our shareholders for me to try to use this money to grow MicroStrategy, because I can't grow MicroStrategy, but Bitcoin is never I don't see Bitcoin as having a downturn, is another thing he said.
Expect an 80% downturn. I don't think it's a speculative asset, and I don't think you can quote unquote take money off the table.
And so I see it as going like up and up and up forever. And so when you think like that,
technically superior asset class compared to the dollar, the euro, the peso, the bolivar, compared to a stock index, compared to gold, compared to silver, compared to everything you can conceivably buy, it is technically thermodynamically superior as an asset.
And when, like Saylor, you have enough shares to vote things however you want, you end up transforming your publicly traded business intelligence company into a levered Bitcoin thing. And that's weird.
Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? And
not only is it weird, but as I stating again, like businesses need cash flow. Like to be a successful business, you need cash flow. You need cash in and cash out. Like even if like a lot of companies operate at a loss for a significant period of time, right? But what they're doing is they're making sales. They're doing things that are bringing in money, even if they're costing them money to bring that money in. And if
there is no second best. Well, we have cash. We're going to have cash. You can't use cash to grow the company anymore. What can you do with the cash? You can either buy the stock back, you can dividend it back to the shareholders, or you can invest it. What are you going to invest it in? Well, how about an asset inflation hedge that you can't make any more of, pure monetary energy? There is no second best.